to my face, in front of everybody in the room, he said, "You don't belong here. You need to get back on the plane, go back home." And I said, "Whew, damn, that's rough, bro."
What's your background?
So I'm Chinese, originally born in Fiji. Grew up in Australia, so I guess I'm ABC.
I'm 100% Bangladeshi.
I'm Filipino.
My ethnicity? Indian.
So my dad's Italian and my mom's Latvian.
Have you ever experienced any first-hand racism?
I think one that does stand out is I was called a gook on Australia Day by a couple of drunk white guys. And you know, that kind of sucks because it's Australia Day and you know, Australia's all about multiculturalism, but you know, getting called something like that, you know, it doesn't really feel good. Yeah.
It actually happened in my placement. So one of the nurses, we were doing like some calculation for the drugs just to see like if the dose is right. And then she asked me some questions like on maths, and then I kind of blanked out. And then she's like, "Aren't you meant to be good at math? You're Asian." Just because I'm Asian doesn't mean that I have to be good at math.
Kids at school, like in primary school, telling you that it's not cool to be Indian or that it's smelly or things like that. Probably hurts when you're a kid a lot more than it does now.
I remember going down to a rural town in Australia. I walk into a country Target and a little kid, I don't think it's racism, but it's just different. A little kid whispers, "Mom, look, it's an Asian." And I'm like, okay, this is different. Or times when you just get commented on your accent or different things like that. And I think people mean well. It just throws you off a little bit.
Do you think racism is a serious issue?
It is, definitely. It hurts you mentally, and it kind of brings down your like self-confidence a lot. No, I believe it's a serious issue in Australia, and it varies. The severity of it varies depending on what cultural background you come from. So sometimes, I think I'm quite lucky being Asian because our stereotypes sometimes are quite positive compared to other cultures. So from my perspective, there's definitely issues and racism in Australia. And
Australia has this culture of like a lot of banter and a lot of, I guess, just really laid back attitude. And I feel like, racism hasn't really been that main issue yet.
Lots of laws can be racist. Policies towards asylum seekers. I think laws to do with Indigenous peoples are also to a degree racist. And then there's your day-to-day attitudes. I think I'm racist. I think everyone is probably racist in their views just because of the way we've been socialized.
There's still an issue, I think, with representation for people of, I guess, of ethnic background. But I think people shouldn't overhype at the same time. I think going into 2020, what I've noticed is people become overly, I guess, sensitive about these things, especially, you know, when it comes to political correctness. I think people kind of exaggerate it too much. So I think it's a fine line of balancing between respecting someone's culture, but not going too overboard with sort of having to be constantly aware of everything we say.
I'll tell you, I have been a victim of certain cases, and I'll tell you, I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's a problem because when I first came to this country, and I looked absolutely fresh off the boat, more like a plane. Anyways, and I walked up to a lovely old lady at a bus stop, and I didn't know where the I was going, and she helped me out. She didn't know my name. She didn't care who I was. She didn't care my race or anything. She just helped me out because she wanted to. And I've received that exact same love and affection throughout my life here, albeit there's a couple random weird anomalies, but I have. So I don't think racism is a problem in Australia.
In your opinion, what can be a solution to racism?
Just being aware that we're all different, that we come from different backgrounds, and being respectful of that, like the differences we have.
there needs to be more integration with everything, or like more celebration of multiculturalism. I know there's like maybe an international day in primary school for like one day, but it shouldn't be celebrated just for one day. It should be like an ongoing thing.
I think it's just a matter of the fact that there's so many people growing up who are multicultural. I think eventually it's going to change when they become parents, and then when they grow older and older, they're going to make sure their kids probably have the same multicultural acceptance that they do. So then hopefully it would just decline over time. But it's always going to exist. As long as there's differences between people, they're going to exist.
I think conversation's always important. So discussing it lots and not being afraid to talk about it. I think sometimes it's really easy to shut down conversations by saying that like there's one answer, but I think it'd be really good if we discussed things more openly, and also were open to the idea that people are racist and that people do make mistakes, but that people can learn as well.
More awareness, man. Like, I feel like if people were doing more for racism, you know, standing up for each other a lot more, if the Asian community would, you know, stand up for themselves a little bit more, I think that would be, you know, that would target racism a lot more.